The breach nobody saw coming. Stars were quiet. In the center of the galaxy, the Galactic Council met in their shining tower above the clouds of Arxis Prime. Representatives from more than 50 alien species were there: blue-scaled Trinari, sharp-eyed Vectal, floating Orban mines, and more. They were talking about peace, laws, and trade. It was a normal day, then everything changed. A loud alarm began to echo through the hall. It was a deep, long sound. Everyone froze. Even the Orban mines stopped spinning. Emergency alert. A robot voice said over the speakers, "Unidentified object has breached Sector 7 Orion border." Repeat, "Unidentified object has breached protected zone." One council member, old and gray, stood up. "That's not possible. No ship can pass through that zone without permission." But the images soon came on screen. A giant shape moved slowly through space, bigger than any known ship, bigger than anything in the galaxy. "Magnify," shouted General Vorton of the Grell Empire. The screen zoomed in. Gasps filled the room. It was a dreadnought, huge, black, and covered in strange glowing lines. No one had seen a design like this before. No name, no known signal. Then a voice from the security center spoke, scared and shaking. It has human markings." The room went silent. "Impossible," whispered Prime Leader Kezer. "Humans, they were destroyed. Earth was lost centuries ago." "Maybe it's a trick," said someone. "A pirate ship, a copy," but the computers did not lie. The ship's code, deep in its energy signature, matched ancient Earth technology, old, forgotten, but real. The dreadnought was human. It moved silently, ignoring all hails and warnings. The Galactic Defense Fleet tried to scan it. Nothing worked. The dreadnought had a shield one no one could understand. Even the best machines failed. "What does it want?" a young Trinari asked, her voice shaking. No one had the answer. Inside the dreadnought, deep in the core, a man stood alone. His face was calm but hard. He wore black armor. On his chest was the symbol of Earth, blue and green, wrapped in steel wings. His name was Commander Elias Rain. He looked out the window as stars passed by. "How long until we reach the council's line?" he asked. 3 minutes, said his officer. A woman with silver hair and a steel arm. "All systems are ready." "Good," Rain said. "No messages. No talks. We let them watch." The crew was silent. They didn't smile. They didn't ask questions. They were trained, loyal, and cold. Each one had a scar. Each one had a reason. Back in the council chamber, panic had started. Ships were sent to watch the dreadnought from a distance. None dared get close. Then suddenly the ship stopped, right at the edge of council territory. Everyone waited. Then a signal came. Not a voice, not a video, just a single image. It showed Earth, a burning planet. Cities on fire, people screaming. Then silence. Under the image, one line appeared: "We remember." The council stared. "What does this mean?" Someone whispered. It was Admiral Sero, the only alien who had fought beside humans in the old wars. Who answered, "It means they survived, and they are angry." Some in the chamber stood. Others sat down, shaking. Old lies were rising again. Years ago, during the Galactic War, humans had asked the council for help. They were attacked by an enemy no one speaks of anymore. The council promised support, but they never sent it. Earth was left alone and forgotten. "Do you think this is revenge?" Prime Leader Kezer asked. Admiral Sero nodded slowly. "If it is, we are not ready." Outside, the dreadnought remained still. The council ordered fleets to guard every system. Planets closed their gates. Citizens were told not to panic, but fear spread quickly. News moved faster than ships. Everyone, everywhere, was talking about the human dreadnought. In the ship, Commander Rain stood still. He looked at the image of the burning Earth again, then closed it. "Phase 1 complete," he said. "Now we wait." His officer nodded. "What if they beg for peace?" Rain's eyes narrowed. "They didn't beg when Earth burned." Ancient enemies and forgotten war shy above the icy moon of Vetras 4. A dark room lit by blue stars held secrets older than most civilizations. Inside, deep in a forgotten archive tower, an old alien with cracked skin and tired eyes tapped on dusty data crystals. His name was Archivist Thovel, one of the last survivors who remembered Earth and the betrayal. While the galaxy panicked over the human dreadnought, Thovel already knew what was coming. "They are not ghosts," he whispered to himself. "They are the storm we created centuries ago." Humans had not always been weak. Long before Earth burned, they were explorers, builders, and warriors, but when they were attacked by enemies stronger than any species had seen, they begged the council for help. The help never came. Back then, the council feared Earth's rising power. If humanity survived, they would one day challenge the council's control. So in silence, they chose to abandon Earth, to let the enemy burn it, and erase the humans from history. Only a few remembered, fewer spoke, but now the past had returned, shaped into steel, fire, and rage. Meanwhile, inside the dreadnought, the air was cold and heavy. Every hallway was silent. Lights flickered softly. The crew wore black armor, no names, no smiles. Every step they took echoed like thunder through the metal heart of the ship. Commander Rain stood before a large window watching distant council. Fleets move like insects across the stars. They are scared, said a voice behind him. He turned slightly. It was Captain Mira Soren, one of the ship's oldest officers. She had one eye, the other replaced with a glowing lens. A scar crossed her cheek from the battles of Titan Refuge. They should be, Rain replied. Mira stepped closer. We could destroy them right now, but you hold back. Why? Rain's voice stayed calm. We're not here to destroy, we're here to be seen. He pressed a button, a floating screen opened, showing a planetary prime, one of the core council worlds. Children played in the green parks. Aliens walked freely, unaware of the fear gripping the galaxy. We had parks like that too, Mira whispered. Ronnie nodded once. Before the council erased us, back in the council hall, chaos had turned into silence. The leaders were locked in a private war room, surrounded by guards and armed drones. Arguments exploded across the table. This is a trick, shouted Minister Vekrin. It cannot be real. It's real, said Admiral Sero firmly. I fought with humans before the war. That ship, its design, its power, it's not a copy, it's them. They were wiped out. No, he said coldly. They went dark, and they learned how to survive. One council leader, a soft-voiced Orban named Ilya Van, tapped her crystal screen. We still don't know their mission. They haven't fired a shot. What if they don't want war? Silence. Then a transmission broke through the secured line. Not a video, not an image, a voice calm, deep and clear. This is Commander Rain of the Earth Defense Vanguard. You watched Earth burn. You said nothing. You called it peace. We call it betrayal. You will now listen. The voice vanished. Nothing more. No demand, no threat. Just a message that sent ice down the backs of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. A council technician rushed in. New energy readings. The human ship just released something small. Objects, thousands of them. Missiles? Vekrin gasped. No. The tech answered. Probes spread across 7 star systems. All of them, the same systems that voted to leave Earth undefended. A shadow passed over the room. The humans were not attacking planets, they were exposing them. Within hours, the probes began transmitting ancient records, videos, sounds, data. The galaxy watched, stunned, as old Earth voices cried out, mothers begging for help, soldiers calling into silence. Children dying in cities lit with fire. Entire worlds now saw the truth. The betrayal could no longer be hidden. Across planets, alien citizens began to protest. Some cried. Some were angry. Some asked questions no one wanted to answer. In quiet homes, old veterans of the Earth War closed their eyes and wept. And aboard the Dreadnought, Rain watched it all without emotion. Mira stood beside him. They'll come for us. Let them, he replied. They always come when it is too late. She looked at him. So what now? Rain didn't answer. He walked down the dark hallway toward the war room. The doors hissed open inside. A single word blinked on every screen. Asterisk. The council's mistake. He crossed the galaxy. People no longer whispered, they shouted. The truth had escaped. No one could stop it now. Every screen, every station, every device showed the screams of Earth's final days, the silence of the council, the broken promises. The streets of council worlds turned into rivers of voices, angry, confused, ashamed. In the grand tower of Arxis Prime, the council met again, but this time under armed protection. Riots had reached the sky gates. Some alien soldiers refused orders. Others switched sides completely. Inside the war chamber, council leaders argued, louder than before, more desperate. They're terrorists. Minister Vekrin slammed his clawed fist. We must strike first. They haven't attacked anyone, shouted Ilya Van, her eyes full of fear. They've only shown the truth, which is more dangerous than any weapon, growled Prime Leader Kezer. This is not about war. It's about shame, and shame spreads fast. Then came the report. Fleet Gamma 20 elite ships had moved toward the Dreadnought. Without permission, they disobeyed? Gasped Ilya Van. They panicked, Kezer said quietly, and they will die. The void near Sector 7 grew tense. The Dreadnought remained still, floating like a dark moon in space, quiet but terrifying. The Gamma fleet moved in. The lead ship, Glory's Edge, sent one final warning. Unknown vessel, power down, submit to council authority. There was no answer. Again, this is your last warning. Prepare to be boarded. Still nothing. So the fleet advanced. Asterisk. Echoes of Earth sky over Ural Prime was beautiful that morning. Twin suns bathed the capital in golden light. Crystal towers sparkled. Children played in parks. Birds with wings like cloth danced between buildings. Everything looked peaceful, but above the clouds, peace was an illusion. The Human Dreadnought had arrived. It moved slowly. No weapons drawn, no threats made, just presence. Heavy, dark, unshakable. People gathered in streets, staring at the skies, pointing in silence. The government said everything was under control, but deep inside, everyone knew the truth. The past had returned, and it was watching inside the Dreadnought. The control chamber glowed dimly. Commander Rain stood still, eyes on the planet below. Captain Mira joined him, her face tense. "This is where they signed it," she said. "The vote to leave Earth, right in that chamber." Rain didn't respond. His hand rested on a console, fingers hovering over a blinking red switch. "Are we broadcasting?" he asked. "Yes," Mira said. "To every planet, every system, every screen." Rain pressed the switch. Across the galaxy, the stars went silent. Billboards turned black, commercials stopped mid-sentence, music faded out. Even warships froze as their control panels lit up with the same blinking icon. Then it began. The first image, Earth, blue and green, beautiful, a calm voice, human, warm, female, began to speak. "This was our home. We were dreamers, builders, explorers. We made mistakes, but we believed in tomorrow." The image changed. Cities under fire. Skies filled with smoke, children screaming, soldiers fighting with broken weapons. Emergency calls unanswered. A planet collapsing not from war alone, but from betrayal. The voice continued, "When our enemies came, we called for help. We trusted the council. We waited for rescue. None came." Alien viewers on ships, in cities, in bunkers watched in silence. Some cried, some trembled. Some turned away, but the broadcast didn't stop. It showed documents signed by council members agreeing to delay aid to Earth, fear of human growth, fear of Earth's strength. The council had chosen politics over life. The voice said, "You called it survival, we call it silence on Ural Prime." The streets exploded with anger. People screamed, protesters threw council flags into fire. Police shields cracked under the weight of guilt. Inside the council tower, chaos returned. Some leaders tried to shut down the feed, others stared at the screen, pale, shaking. Ilyavin covered her mouth. "We were lied to," Vekran shouted. For troops to prepare for war, Kezer sat quietly, hands shaking, whispering to himself, This is the end." Back on the Dreadnought, Rain turned from the console. His voice was low. "Let them see what they buried." Mira nodded. "And if they still choose war? Then they will see what we became." In a quiet wing of the ship, a chamber opened. A girl stood alone inside, young, human, barely 16. Her name was Nayla. She was born in the refuge arcs, raised among stars, never knowing real soil. Yet she held something in her hand, a small jar of Earth's dirt saved by her mother. She walked into a dome-shaped room where holograms of Earth's ocean shimmered around her. A ceremony began. All across the ship, crew members stood still, helmets off, heads bowed. One by one, they poured their own jars of soil into a single glowing bowl in the center of the chamber. Earth, scattered across stars, now reunited in silence. Commander Rain watched from above. His voice came over the speakers. "We are not here for revenge. We are here to bury the lie. This is for the ones who never left Earth, for the ones who waited in the dark, for the ones who still remember." And then something happened that changed everything. A second signal appeared. Not from the Dreadnought, from deep space. A wormhole opened behind the ship, vast, swirling, ancient. From it emerged more ships. Not one, not 10, thousands. Each ship bore the same symbol, Earth reborn, a planet wrapped in flame and steel. A new voice came through the galaxy-wide broadcast, a woman, strong, fierce, familiar. "This is Admiral Kyra Lane of the Soul Vanguard. Humanity never died. We grew, we watched, and now we return." The camera zoomed out. The Dreadnought was not alone anymore. It was the first flame of a forgotten empire, one built in silence, one raised by pain, one returning not as victims but as the reckoning. Then everything broke. Without firing a single shot, the Dreadnought responded. All at once, the council ships began to fail, engines dead, lights out, weapons frozen. One by one, their systems went dark, not destroyed, not damaged, just erased. Inside the Dreadnought, a soft hum filled the air. A chamber opened beneath the main bridge. Rows of glowing blue spheres floated within ancient tech, long banned, once only theorized in whispers. Pulse nullifiers. A voice inside the Dreadnought spoke. Non-lethal shutdown complete. Targets neutralized, no casualties. Commander Rain stood on the bridge, arms behind his back, eyes cold. "We could have ended them," said Captain Mira, stepping forward. "We don't need to," he answered. "Let the galaxy see who fired." First, across the council worlds, live feeds showed the scene, ships falling silent, not burning, not broken, just humiliated. The people saw the truth. The humans had the power to destroy but chose not to, and that made them more terrifying than any fleet. In dark rooms, council scientists whispered in panic. This shouldn't be possible. That technology, gravity shells, pulse nullifiers, tactical suppression fields, it's decades beyond us. One voice, hidden in shadows, said, "No. It's centuries." In a quiet corner of the Dreadnought, a young officer sat alone, staring. At a small photo, a girl maybe 8, curly hair, laughing beside a lake. His name was Ensign Tarek. He was born on a mining colony near Pluto. His family died during the collapse. He had survived by hiding in an old storm bunker for 9 days. Commander Rain found him. Now he served on the strongest ship ever built, trained for a mission none of them fully understood. But he followed, not because of orders but because Earth never got justice. Captain Mira passed by and stopped. She saw the photo. Your sister? She asked. Ta or Ek nodded. They sent a call. The council said help was coming, but no one came. She placed a hand on his shoulder. They never cared, she said, but now they will remember. Back at the council, fear turned into silence. The leaders received a second message from the Dreadnought. Text only. We do not seek war, but we will not hide. You failed Earth, now you answer to it. No demands, no threats, just truth, and the weight of it was heavier than any weapon. Admiral Sero stood alone at the edge of the chamber. Do you see now? He said, his voice low. They didn't come to destroy us, they came to show us who we really are. But we can't let them walk free, said Vekran, shaking. If we do, the council will fall. No. Sero said, the council already fell. We're just the last to admit it. In the shadows of deep space, the Dreadnought began to move again, not toward battle but toward Ural Prime. The heart of the council, not to fire but to stand before the world that chose silence and make it speak. And all across the stars, one question echoed in every mind. On every planet, what happens when the betrayed refuse to stay silent? We were never gone. The galaxy held its breath. Across every moon, every station, every world once ruled by the council, eyes turned toward the sky. Not one, not two, but a fleet of thousands had arrived. Human ships, massive, silent, ancient-looking, yet glowing with energy the galaxy had never seen. No music played, no guns fired, only a voice. This is Admiral Kyra Lane. We are the sons and daughters of Earth. We carry her name, her pain, her memory. The message wasn't a threat. It was a mirror, and the galaxy saw itself in it, and what it saw was shame. Inside the Dreadnought, Commander Rain stood at the center of the bridge. All systems were online, all ships were linked. They waited for his signal, but he did not give it. Instead, he turned to a small device on his wrist. It was cracked, old, barely working. Inside it played a recording, grainy, flickering. A little girl, maybe 6 years old, sat in a small bed, holding a stuffed animal. Hi, Daddy, she smiled, waving. I'll wait for you to come back from work. Mom says you're doing hero things. Love you. The video froze. That little girl had died the same day Earth fell, and Rain had never stopped hearing her voice. Meanwhile, in the council hall, everything collapsed. Leaders screamed, some begged the military to respond, others resigned, walking out in silence. But the galaxy didn't wait for orders. Across star systems, protests became revolts. Council statues were torn down, flags were burned, soldiers dropped their weapons, one by one. Planets disconnected from the council's control. A new chant spread like fire. They remembered. Back in space, the humans made no move. They didn't strike. They didn't invade. They simply held the line. Then came a transmission, this time from the people of Faran 6. A council world that once voted against Earth. A boy appeared on screen. Not human, small horns on his head, green skin. I saw your video, he said quietly. I didn't know. I'm sorry. Please don't hurt my family. The message hit harder than any weapon. Rain watched it again and again. No child, he said softly, should ever fear us the way ours feared them. At dawn over Ural Prime, the humans sent down one small shuttle. No armies, no guns. Inside it stood a single woman, Captain Mira Soren. She walked alone into the ruins of the council chamber. No guards stopped her, no weapons were raised. She stood where Earth's voice had once been denied and placed a steel box on the table. Inside the box was dirt. Real Earth dirt. The council ended Earth with silence. She said to the remaining members, so we answer with silence of our own. This soil is from the home you abandoned. Keep it, bury it, or burn it. It makes no difference now. Then she turned and left, not another word. In the weeks that followed, the council dissolved. New governments rose. Some human ships returned to their hidden colonies. Others stayed behind, not as rulers, but as watchers, guardians, keepers of memory. The Dreadnought became a symbol not of power, but of pain that became strength. And on the day the last council building fell, a message appeared on every screen. Every planet, every corner of known space. It was Rain's voice, recorded and clear. Justice is not war. It is remembrance. We do not come to conquer, we come to remind. You forgot Earth. But we were never gone above the stars. The fleet disappeared one by one, returning to where no map could reach. And deep in the void where silence lived, a single ship remained, the Dreadnought. Floating. Waiting. A monument not to victory, but to memory.